Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, due to some striking air traffic controllers in France of all places, I know what you're thinking, how out of character for the French. I'm stuck in Spain. I was supposed to fly back to Manchester this morning, but that's now been delayed until they get better pay or healthcare or whatever it is that they want. So, I'm at a bit of a loose end. This happens whenever I come to Spain. For the first 2 or 3 days, I just do nothing. I sit by the pool, read a book, sunbathe, just do nothing at all. But then after 48 hours, I start to twiddle my thumbs. And I start to consider the idea of buying a Spanish car and just leaving it here. Rather than renting it from the airport, I always think, wouldn't it be better if I bought something interesting? And I always think, I'm a car guy. I don't need to justify it to anybody. If I want a car here, I'll just buy a car here. What's the big deal? So what if I only use it once every 2 months? Anyway, I was on the Spanish version of Autotrader, which there are several different websites, but the one I use is called Autoscout24. And I thought rather than do this alone, because that would be sad, wouldn't it? Very sad indeed. Why not bring you guys along? So, let me show you what I've been looking at. But first, hang on a second. Much better. Right, I tell you what then, shall we look on Facebook Marketplace first? There are always some quite interesting cars here on Facebook Marketplace. In the UK, I find that it's just filled with dross, but here in Spain, you find that sometimes there's the occasional bargain, somebody that's moving back to the UK or back to their own country. Let's see if we can find any. Oh, look at this, Range Rover. Why am I seeing that? That's in Birmingham. Right, let me show you how mad Spanish car prices are. This is a Mercedes CLK. So what I'm thinking is, this isn't going to happen to be honest, but just humour me for a bit. I'm thinking a four-wheel drive car or a convertible. So I was thinking either an old shaped Cayenne, a Jeep Wrangler, a Mercedes ML, or these are options by the way, I'm not thinking of all three. Or, what else was I thinking? An early E53 X5. Or on the convertible front, I was either thinking Saab 9.3, Mercedes CLK, or E46 3 Series, or E36 3 Series. I haven't quite decided yet. So something like this CLK would do. But let's look at this. Right. So this is automatic. I think we can all translate that, can't we? It is from the year 2003. It's petrol. It's the 240, which uses a 2.6 V6, and it's done 187,000 kilometers. The seat of the driver is spent. That's an odd way of spent, broken, I guess. And the roof doesn't function. And it's 5,000 euros. In England, that would be £1,000 car. I quite like the colour. Looks reasonably tidy, I guess, for a Spanish car. It's from Spain because it's got a Spanish phone number on it. That's one thing, I don't mind paying a premium for a Spanish car because there'll be no rust, but I don't want to pay a premium for a car that's come from Northern Europe and then been imported into Spain because it might be rusty as anything underneath. I don't mind paying a bit extra if you're going to get a solid Spanish car that's never seen any salt. But I don't want to pay a premium for one from Sweden or Norway that might be rotten. A little bit of damage there, but not too bad. So we've got a broken roof. Now that could just be a motor. I could probably fix that myself. The driver's seat's ripped. Again, I could probably find a replacement on eBay maybe. It's got heated seats. They'll be useful in Spain, won't they? It needs a new steering wheel because it's got a cover on it. To be fair, I suppose that's not too bad because the engine's quite reliable and I could either find somebody to repair the seat or just replace it on eBay. That wouldn't actually put me... Strange picture. Yeah, looks okay, but 5,000 euros. It's mad, isn't it? What else is there then? Vehicles then, let's have a look. You see, look at something like this old Cayenne, right, that's 5,000 euros, which is too cheap. It isn't too cheap in the UK, but that's too cheap. It's from 360,000 kilometres, and it's an LPG, which I don't like. But it does have a bow on the roof, so it'd be easy to identify which car's yours when you come to the Miramar car park, wouldn't it? Look at the state of that. Ripped seat. That's £5,000. Again, that'd be a £1,500 car in the UK. But I just think, you might think I'm mad now, but that era of CLK or this era of Cayenne, I know they're old now, but I still think they look quite classy. Might just be me, that. Gimas, okay. G-Wagon for €1,000, that's cheap. I take back what I said, this is just dross, isn't it? Oh, right, this is what I was thinking. So, look at this. For sale, BMW Cabrio that you've been waiting for. Realize your dream. Okay, so this is a 325 Ci, so it's a straight 6. For sale, vehicle in very good condition, maintained always sleeps in the garage with all the extras. ITV, which is the Spanish version of an MOT, and it's insured. So we've got multi-function wheel, leather seats with electric and memory and heat, cruise control, Harman Kardon stereo, retrovisores electricals. What does that mean? Not sure. Onboard computer. That, apart from the blacked out kidney grille, which I don't like, it's a bit chevy that, isn't it? That looks really classy, I think. It's probably had a little bit of paint in its life because that door looks slightly off colour, but all Spanish cars will have done. Oh, it's manual. I know you're going to complain at me for saying that, but I would rather have an automatic. And that's 6,750. That wouldn't be bad, to be honest. But like I say, I would rather an automatic. Before we look at any more, I've just got to say a big thank you to today's video sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Surfshark. Surfshark are a VPN service provider, but they're also a long-time supporter of the channel, so by checking them out, you're helping support the channel. If you want to protect yourself while you're shopping online or doing online banking, you definitely need to check them out. It protects you so that all your data and your details are safe, including your IP address, so cyber thieves can't view it. In addition to that, it blocks malware, phishing, ads, and other kinds of nastiness, which in turn can speed up your bandwidth and make your device run much more quickly. The last thing I want to happen is to have my credit card details stolen or my bank account hacked into, and since I've been using Surfshark, touch wood, that hasn't happened. There's another handy feature with Surfshark. You can actually use it to change your location settings. You know, for example, if you're on a streaming site such as Netflix and it won't let you watch your favourite TV show or film, you can use Surfshark to change your location settings so that it thinks you're in a different territory or region, then all of a sudden you can watch those TV shows and films. It's really handy. I use this mainly when I'm in Spain so that it thinks I'm still here in the UK. You can download the app very easily from the App Store and you can use it on multiple devices. It's cheap and easy to use. We're all online a huge amount of time these days and you just don't know how much information you're putting out there, so it's better to protect yourself, especially if you frequently use public Wi-Fi spots such as at train stations, airports, that sort of thing. If you're interested in checking them out, I'll leave the link below, but you'll get a better deal if you use my promo code HighPeakAutos. You'll get 3 months extra, totally free. All you need to do is visit surfshark.deals/HighPeakAutos. Right, back to the cars. Okay, right, ML. So we want petrol, which that one is. Okay, this is something else to mention. Spain, or rather my area of Spain, Malaga, have introduced this new environmental thing. So you've got to have a sticker in your window now which displays from A to F, I think it is, how eco-friendly your car is. So it's a bit like a ULEZ thing, but I don't know if there's a fee. I imagine there will be sooner or later. So that's something to bear in mind. So I don't want diesel because I don't really like diesel anyway. And certainly if it's just going to be parked up and used 3 days every month, it's a bit of a waste. It doesn't really matter if it's a thirsty petrol because it won't do many miles anyway. So something like this E350 petrol would be okay. That's a 2007 model year, November 2006, done 200,000 kilometres, so 120,000 miles. Serviced 500 kilometres ago, and ITV it's just been passed. 8995, that doesn't look bad, does it? But one thing I've noticed, this isn't a Spanish national car because it's on a J plate. So that's a late import. That will have been imported 5 years ago or something. So it will have spent its first 10 years elsewhere. And that's exactly what I'm saying. If that's spent 10 years in a cold climate, then I don't really want to pay a premium because it might be rotten underneath. It might not be, of course, but I'd rather find a Spanish national car. Peugeot 3007cc, no gracias. What is this then? CLC, no, I don't really like CLCs. CLC compressor. Good news, we've got a Sandero Stepway. Actually quite like Dacia, but I wanted something a bit more interesting than that. Oh, that's nice. That's a New Shape SL. I know this is only for rent. It's an SL63. Keep dreaming. Right, on the face of it, that looks okay. So 4,700 euros. It is... he must be South American, this guy, because in South America they refer to cars as carros, whereas in mainland Spain it's coche. Interested in change for a cheaper car. It drives without big problems. In the last 6 months it has had a new battery, brakes, generator. And Braggy, that's clutch, isn't it? 6 months remaining, okay. I don't really like that era of A4, to be honest. I wouldn't really relish the thought of jumping in that and driving it. So that's not for me. I was thinking something like an old SL. Now, something like this would be ideal, but it would have to be the 350 because the 500s have that complicated ABC suspension. And I just know that I'd leave it here for 2 months and then I'd arrive by taxi and it would just be sat on its backside, and I can't be bothered dealing with those sorts of issues. It is a 500. Whereas the 350 just rides on coil springs. So it's much more, well, there's far less to go wrong. 20 grand, wow. Done 100,000 miles. That would be at least half that in the UK, at least half. We've got an old shape CLK. Not really a fan of that shape. I don't think they've aged particularly well. There's some terrible pictures, really bad. That era of CLS looks quite cool. It's weird, it might just be me this, it might just be me being a complete oddball, but I think cars in other countries, apart from the UK where I can work out how old something is, they seem to age better. When I see something with a Spanish plating like that, I think, looks pretty good. Whereas if I saw that in Stockport with an 06 plate, I just think, rubbish. That might just be me being an oddball. Oh, look at this Jag. So this is down the coast in Benavis. It's a Daimler Super V8. Right, so recently painted, original colour of course, brand new tyres, everything works as it should, imported to Spain from EU 2019. That's a very rare car, that. So it's a long wheelbase, executive. How cool is that? Oh yes. It's not really what I had in mind, but... Ah, right, okay, now we're talking. That's what I want, ideally, a Jeep Wrangler. So that is a Jeep Wrangler 4 litre. The ITV's passed recently. It's recently had maintenance. The Jeep is perfect on the body and engine. It comes with a soft roof and a hard top. Perfect wheels, sounds great. Very good. Perfect for the city or for the countryside. Very good. Comes with a 1 year guarantee. Don't know how they can guarantee that for a year. So, I mean, look at the price though, it's 18,900 euros. But they're a bit like Defenders, they just hold on to their values really well. So I think you could buy something like that for 19,000 euros and keep it for 5 or 10 years and it just wouldn't lose an awful lot. That's just really cool. That's kind of what I was picturing. Something interesting. It doesn't have to be the best, because the Jeep Wrangler really isn't the best. Oh, it's auto as well. That's tempting actually. Manual windows, less to go wrong there. That's a cool thing, isn't it? Very cool. Oh, I really want that. Look at the overdrive button. Wow. 110,000 kilometers, that's not high either, is it? That's 65,000 miles. No lo dejes pasar. You won't miss it. That's what I really want, but I don't want to spend that much money. Wanted something for I want that basically for 3 grand, and it's not going to happen. Porsche Cayenne, look at this, right. So that is a 4.8. Now, you know what I said about the SLs, not wanting the 500 and wanting the 350 for air suspension issues, or, you know, ABC suspension issues. The same thing goes with the Cayenne. So ideally, the Cayenne that I'm looking for would have to be the old 3.2 or 3.6, just riding on coils, not air. These kinds of cars don't like it when they're sat sitting for weeks and weeks on end. Whereas if it's just on coils, there's far less to go wrong. That does look cool though. I really like this era of Cayenne, this facelift, the new lights and everything. That looks very tidy actually for a Spanish car. So that doesn't really tell us an awful lot about it, does it? Kilometre hidden, okay. All maintenance in Porsche official dealer. That's a good sign. I like that, that's really cool. 16.9, so 2 grand less than the Jeep, but it'll depreciate, whereas the Jeep won't. Oh, this is interesting. I don't know why I do this to myself. 3,500 euros worth of S500L. I should point out here in southern Spain, it's full of these tiny little picturesque Andalusian whitewash villages where you can't park, or you'd struggle to park a Fiat Panda. So a long wheelbase S500, I might struggle with. Cool though. That looks like great value for 3.5 grand. Spectacular Mercedes-Benz S500L, 306 horsepower with all the extras possible, 230,000 kilometers, certified, perfect condition. Comes with ITV, climate control, leather seats, sunroof, lights of xenon, sensors of parking. That looks like great value. Oh, it's got a wooden steering wheel as well. What I'm after is that era of ML, but the 350 or the 500. I don't think, well, I'm pretty sure even the 500 in that era doesn't have air suspension. Oh, Mitsubishi Eclipse. It's unusual. Now, all these will have been imports. So, Jose. No way, Jose. Heated seats, American model, automatic, brought to Spain, new with 0 kilometers. And it's only done 54,000 kilometers. That's low, isn't it? It's only 30,000 miles. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I've had 3 Mitsubishi Eclipses when I lived here in Spain, but I've never had one of this era, mine with the previous gen. And I was never really a big fan of this model, this big bulbous back end. It's got a Kardashian booty. Mary Poppins, what's that? For sale, Hyundai XG 3.5 V6. I've never seen one of those in my life. Automobile from 2005, executive class. Interior is beige and clean. All the electronics function correctly. It has a panoramic roof included. All the service, hechos without the H, all the service has been done. Changed all the filters and the oil and the spark plugs and the liquids. Discs and pads are new. Changed the front and the back. Cojinete de rueda. What is that? Ah, does that mean spare? Wheel bearing. Cojinete. Okay. There's a new word I've learned. Ah, I have seen those. Remember the Hyundai Sonata? This was like a bigger version of that. Nobody bought them because why would you? It would certainly fit my interest in build though, wouldn't it? That is a Touareg by the looks of things. Ah, no, it's a Phaeton. I beg your pardon, right. So that is a 2000, it's a 6 litre W12 4Motion, 420 horsepower. Oh yes, in green. Green over tan, look at that. 118,000, look at the mats. They're jazzy, aren't they? That's quite cool, isn't it? It's absolutely nothing like what I'm looking for, but interesting. EOS, no thanks. A Mini. You'd think that would be ideal for Spain, wouldn't you? But nope. Loads of issues. Well, this little trip down Facebook Marketplace is proving to be quite fruitless, isn't it? Something like a Fiat 500 would be ideal, to be honest, but it's a bit predictable, isn't it? Wanting something a bit more interesting than that. That would be ideal, though. Oh, hang on a minute. Is that yeah, it's automatic. No, thank you. They have a semi-auto gearbox and they're not very reliable. Right, Ford Explorer. Why am I looking at this? For sale, Explorer. For sale, Explorer for not having time to fix it. Starts first, but would change the tank pump. Right, don't want to get involved in that then, do we? Oh, they're a bad car. The Chrysler Sebring. What an appalling piece of dross. That is something that you'd rent from Orlando International Airport, isn't it? You land there with your luggage and your jet lag and you think, I'm going to get a Mustang, and they present you with a Chrysler Sebring with the worst chassis ever made. This one's in Benalmádena. Okay, that is a 2008 convertible with electric roof, diesel. I didn't really want diesel. The one to go for with that is a 2.8 V6 petrol, or the 2 litre petrol turbo. I don't really want the diesel or the manual. I'd rather have the auto. Cool cars though. Very cool. Oh, Z3. It's in the GoldenEye colour. 1999, collector's car, James Bond GoldenEye. Spelt as 2 words, GoldenEye's 1 word. Pierce Brosnan driving same car. Comes with the cover for the hood. Barbed wire. The prices are all over the place here, aren't they? Absolutely all over the place. An E36, that could be interesting, couldn't it? That looks very tidy actually. I don't like the clear lenses. So this is what I'm talking about with this environmental sticker. Sticker environmental B. I'm guessing A is good and it works down from there, I'm guessing. No part exchanges, no ridiculous offers. Okay. 1997 318. You want the 6-cylinder always with BMWs. You want to go for the 6-cylinder. On paper, that would be quite good. But in reality, it is a steaming pile of excrement, isn't it? The CLK looks cheap. Oh, it's English right-hand drive, that's why. Volante a la derecha, okay, steering of the right. Another Jeep Wrangler, but that's too expensive. That's quite cool, isn't it? That's really cool, actually. See, the fact that this is from Granada and it's spent all its life in Granada, as long as it hasn't spent all its life up the Sierra Nevada mountain range, that should be rust-free, shouldn't it? Anyway, I'm not driving around in one of those every time I come on holiday. The novelty might wear off quite quickly. E46 M3, that's 30 grand. No, too much, too much, too much. Oh, well that would be alright to get to the shops, wouldn't it? $12.50. Right, what we want here, guys, is a big daft engine. ML500, there we go. Oh, nope, it's a 320, but they've badged it as a 5. That's 4,800 euros. It's crazy, isn't it? If it's going to be an early Mark 1, I would rather it had the two-tone bumpers and stuff, to be honest. But I don't think I'm in a position to be too picky. Right, let's have a quick look on Autoscout 24 then, see if the selection's better. Let's look at MLs then. Okay, type in my postcode. Okay, so we've got a ML320 petrol for 4.5 grand. Quite a cool colour blue, that, isn't it? I like that. Only one photograph, it's done 200,000 kilometres. Petrol in Marbella. 2005 350 petrol for sale with a private seller in Marbella. Looks quite tidy, that, doesn't it? Oh, spoke too soon. That is just your average Spanish car, isn't it? When you watch somebody park in Spain, they keep going until they touch the car behind. It's just what they do. I'll tell you what, we'll go on tipo de combustible, gasoline. There we go. No, okay. Right, what about CLKs? So this one's for sale with a dealer in Marbella. It's 10,900 euros and it has done 146,000 kilometres, which is, what, 80,000 miles? That looks very tidy, actually. Oh, I like the reg. This is almost like fate, isn't it? Bit of kismet. We've got a city plate. Upside down photograph there, taken in Australia. I quite like the wheels. Little double spokes. That's very classy. I'd have preferred it to be the big V6 rather than a 2-litre compressor, but it would do, wouldn't it? Real. And it's got a cloth interior, that's unusual. On the bright side, I suppose it wouldn't burn the back of your legs, would it, in August? That's not bad, really, that. Still, 11,000 euros. In England, that would be... what would that be? It'd be a 4 grand car, wouldn't it? For a 2004 CLK. It'd be 3,995. Nope. That's diesel. Nope. 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 That's an SLK for a start. That's the old shape and it's manual. No thanks. Oh, the 55. But it's 22.5 grand. This was a rare car. They didn't, you rarely saw these. They did the old shape CLK with a 4.3 litre V8, which I think was 272 horsepower. They used the same engine in the ML and the S class of the era, but very few people chose it in the CLK. That'd be quite interesting, wouldn't it? You know, it would be quite cool to have here a short wheelbase G-Wagon. Wow, these are expensive. Okay, so that is a 1996 that someone's made to look newer, and it's 34,000 euros. Wow. Okay, right, I've gone off that idea slightly. Let's look at X5, shall we? It is such slim pickings. Right, let's look for a Porsche Cayenne then. Porsche Cayenne. So you've got this one. Like I say, I didn't really want the V8. I would rather have the base V6. But that's in Marbella, well, Benavis. It's only done 110,000 kilometres. It's 2003, so it's 20 years old, but that wouldn't really bother me. I quite like it in silver. Quite a clean car that, isn't it? I can't see whether it's an original Spanish car or not. It looks like the front bumper's been painted, but that wouldn't really bother me. Is that a bit damaged there, or is it a shadow? Can't tell. That's a 4.5S, so 340 horsepower, I think, off the top of my head. They do make a really nice noise, these. That's quite classy, isn't it? I prefer them if they've got steering wheel buttons. Wonder if you could buy a steering wheel off eBay with buttons on it and just retrofit it. I'm sure you could. That looks really clean, actually. I quite like the look of that. Yes, it has air suspension. Would it brake? Would it... I don't know. I see a turbo would be nice, but I was trying to go with less problems. That's €12,000, well, 11,700. 11,000, oh, that's cool, with a wooden wheel. That's really nice, isn't it? How cool is that? It divides opinion, the early Cayennes, but I really like them, always have done. Don't forget, this was from 2002, 2003. This is from an era when you couldn't buy a Lamborghini Urus or a Bentley Bentayga. See, that looks nice, doesn't it? 15,995. This is in Marbella. It's a facelift model, but it's a facelift V8. So it's a 4.8 litre V8, not a 4.5, with 117 horsepower. That's cool, that. Decisions. The service history looks quite good. Porsche. It's a Spanish car too, because... Oh, that's interesting. It's been serviced in Newcastle upon Tyne in 2014. It's a weird one. And then back to Marbella. It's been owned by a Geordie. Makes you wonder what it's all about. Oh, a GTS, that would be nice. Now the GTS is quite a rare model. I think it has 400 horsepower. There you go, 405 horsepower. Loser. That's a wicked looking thing. They came with half Alcantara seats, and they were just a sportier version. They sat just below the turbo. Yeah, right. I think maybe Cayenne's the option then, isn't it? Maybe Cayenne's the answer. This website is really annoying, by the way, because you've got here on top of the list, you've got like the most famous or the most popular brands or whatever. Then you've got other brands here below. Then when you're scrolling along, you can't find, for example, here, you can't find BMW because it's not there. It's right the way at the top, where you least expect. I'll tell you what, let's look at 3 Series. I've not looked at those. And what about an i3? Nope. Try again. 71. That would be quite sensible, wouldn't it? I've got an electric charging point already from a little Fiat. I've never driven one of these, but they are quite quirky, aren't they? No, I really wanted something with a ridiculously big engine. Let's look for a 330 Cabriolet. Look at the price of that. That is a 2003 330 convertible. Done 170,000 kilometres, so it's not particularly low. 10,000 euros. 10,000 euros. That's a £3,000 car. Cool though. Auto as well. And it's been serviced. In Spain, whenever you get your car serviced by an independent garage, they always give you this little tag here, which I think is a really good idea. We should do that in the UK. Diesels, don't want a diesel. 12.5, look at that. 12.5 for a year 2000 330. That's a cool colour. It's almost like a Givany, isn't it? Givany green. 9.5 grand. Tell you what, it's 9,500 euros. Manual, I don't really want a manual. There's just no choice. It's mad, isn't it? If I were looking for a 330 in England, there would be 30 pages to choose from. But here, there is just no choice. What else can we look for? Tell you what would be quite cool, a Toyota FJ Cruiser. These are rare, so I'm not expecting there to be any. None. There you go. 0. Tell you what, while this beer's gone to my head, let's have a look at DB9s. There are 10 DB9s, but no FJ Cruisers. See, that's not even a bad price, is it really? That's on par with a UK price. And yet a 3 Series is 3 times the price. Doesn't make any sense, does it? Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it? Service the emission system. Doesn't sound good, does it? I do like them in silver. That is a 2004 done 80,000 kilometres for 55 grand. Looks really clean in silver, doesn't it? I don't even know why I'm looking at these. Oh, convertible one. Now, the Volante, that would be a thing of class, wouldn't it? I'd be excited to come over. Fire up the big Howling V12. Where's that come from originally? Stuttgart, okay, so it's a German import. This is well travelled, isn't it? Barcelona, Madrid. That's beautiful, isn't it? Why am I looking at Hummers? Why am I looking at Hummers? Tell you what I've seen quite a lot of here. Let me see if I can find a Lynx & Co. I don't even know what one is. I guess it's Chinese. It's got a face like a sad duke. Well, I think that's about it then. So thank you once again for keeping me company. As you can see, there's just no choice, is there? And prices are mad. Some of them are really ridiculously, unjustifiably high. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. If I ever get home, that is. See you later.